Okay, we're live.
Welcome to another edition of Off the Deep End. I'm your host, Annie. Tonight we have a special edition of Off the Deep End. We're doing something a little different. Ivan is going to bring in a being that is going to interview me, and I will be answering his questions on behalf of humanity. If you haven't been listening to my shows or watching them on YouTube, you know that Ivan Teller is an awesome channeler. He channels all sorts of beings who give us great information for our humanity and our ascension going forward. So without further ado, welcome Ivan. He's still connecting, and he's going to be bringing somebody through. We're thinking it might be an Essassani. We'll see.
Greetings, blessings.
Greetings, blessings. Welcome.
Yes, this is one moment. Essassani, blessings. This is Neiman. Much love to your society and your existence here in this world that is going into an ascension process of a world awakening. As you can tell, you're seeing the early stages of it, but that's partly why we are here right now.
Yes, it's very exciting.
Yes. Yes, I believe we are going to be the one connecting to you, and this as for asking you that you are the interviewees, I believe.
Yes, that's whatever you want to ask.
One moment as we grab our one moment. We are still connecting. One moment. Well, yes, you want to know why your Earth is always polluted. I believe you already have the answer to that.
Yes, we do. So our Earth is polluted, unfortunately, for many reasons, but recycling is not a top priority, apparently. And I believe that there's forces up there who want our Earth all polluted, so we can't inhabit it in the best way possible.
Well, to go into that a little bit, I know I'm here to ask questions, but also to give you our perspective is another way to keep you from connecting. Another way from you seeing clearly and thinking clearly. I believe that chemtrail vibrations is also part of this, just to add to that. So it has a lot to do with it. So your Earth can, look at in that direction. It is not just there to just, and of course there are some that say it's not polluted at all. You might want to think again. But either way, more of your Earth collective becomes more knowledgeable of this. You'd be surprised if your energies come together. You can clean it on your own through your own vibrations. As healing yourself, you also heal the Earth by your vibration. But the Earth collective.
That's really good to know information.
Yes. So that's just give you something to think about in your future. But yes, question number 2, or I don't think I want to number them. I forget where I'm at. But either way, one moment. Yes, why do your women seem like they always need to make up themselves up? Aren't they beautiful already?
I don't know why that is, but that's been historically the fact. And I think at least in modern day society, what they do is they appeal to our personal aesthetic, our attraction for beauty, the finer things in life. I believe they think that we're more open, therefore more impressionable, and if they're going to sell anything, get the woman.
Well, yes, it has a lot to do with, from our perspective, with one of disguising oneself to look another way, to look differently, and Yes, different cultures of kind of way how you want to look at it. Some are pressuring females to look a different way than they already do. And that is coming from the male mind vibration. It's like, you're not good enough, put some of this on, basically. Unfortunately, that's
Yes.
from what we are seeing.
Yes, and there's a lot of pressure on women in all societies to look one way or another. I think in Thailand, it's not really looked great if you have a tan. So women put chemicals on themselves to lighten themselves. And not only Thailand, but they do that in India as well. And then many women like to marry who are darker, like to marry men who are lighter because they feel like that's going to improve the race or the culture somehow if they have some light kids or something. Like that in turn is going to make them light.
Yes. Well, also from our perspective, it was another way of showing that males are above females in that regard as for looks. But realize if you're all going to be in the same boat together, why aren't the males and the females all wearing makeup together while you're at it?
Yeah, exactly. I'm pretty sure there's some men who would enjoy some makeup, who aren't necessarily homosexual or transsexual. Like the term guy liner has become popular lately, so I'm all for it.
Yes, your society has been conditioned to think one way, as you can tell. There's nothing wrong with. There's also societies where men are wearing dresses also, not necessarily the undergarments, but the dresses. Your earth is still have kilts. What do you think those are? So short kilts. Skirts. It was kind of funny. Yes, they made it culturally acceptable, but still. So
there were cultures where the men were more naked than the women are today.
Yes. So we figured we would explore that. Also, your mobility. Why you must have an automobile to go somewhere? Why do things have to be so far away? For you to, what you call it?
Enjoy.
Well, to find economic stability. Let's put it that way.
Oh, yeah, that's right. This is what I believe. I think that for a long time, at least in the United States, there was a big agricultural society, and I think that a lot of the larger companies started kind of like buying out or just kind of like pushing out the small guy, and those companies get a lot of subsidies to grow their products versus, I guess, the small guy. And so a lot of the people who used to work in those industries who didn't have any jobs anymore just kind of moved to the city.
Yes, but it also has to do with economics. As for having your job be very far away and give you an automobile, another way to pull money from you also. So it's been done, and it was engineered a lot in that way also. So, and also the human feels like they must earn a certain amount. Of course, they raise the amount of money you need to live off of also to make life difficult. That is all done by design.
Oh, yes. That brings up a good topic because there has been like at least a big, huge push for people to think that they need more.
Yes.
I think Dale Carnegie's son or something was grandson was a big proponent of that. And then once again, appealing to women. Oh, yes. You need this fashion, that fashion, or whatever. When there was a time when women maybe had like 5 dresses.
Yes, correct.
Yes. So there's been a big push just to influence us that we constantly need more, that what we have right now is not enough. And so we're constantly not only looking for more money or ways to improve ourselves so we can get that money, but we're also looking forward so we're not in the present moment enjoying like what we want as well.
Yes, for the most part, what little means a lot, such as having somewhere, well, even those that are homeless, very little, but still a lot. Yes, having food to consume is one thing that your earth makes very difficult to connect with. As we find very puzzling, that's why you would want to make your own people suffer. It is your world. You're no different. You might have different colors, different heights, differences as for opinion, but why starve each other to death?
Yes, and then they're also doing it through the way our food is produced. Our food today is not the food from 50 years ago. It's robbed of many minerals. There's a lot of people who go try the vegan lifestyle, which is great, but if the vegetables aren't sourced appropriately, they are not getting the minerals and the vitamins they are seeking from that lifestyle, unfortunately. And conversely, I'm pretty sure that's the same thing with all industries, but let's say that's all you ate, for example, just for example's sake. Yes. You're just eating, you're eating things, but you're not getting the nutrients you need. You get sick. And yes, I believe it's just kind of, this story just is a story that just, the same story, you could apply it to many different situations. Ultimately, there's an energy that does not want us to thrive.
Exactly. Yes.
That its ultimate goal is for ultimate domination of every drop of water, every blade of grass, every human on this earth, whether it be our health or our mind, to not only control it, but also to profit off of it as well.
Yes, and also our next question about fear. Why do you think there's so much fear in your society? It's in your media and even in your films. It's also, well, this is a two-part question. Also, the low vibrations in your entertainment, as many, yes, it is seen very fascinating, or at least glorified as being very negative. One of them consumes much cigarettes and booze, and also have a negative vibration, which also goes into the fear vibration also. And this is seen as a good thing on your planet.
And then turned into shame because those same people are shamed, yes. Because there's a lot of judgment and fear in basically everywhere in our society. It's like, I personally do not like watching the TV because it's all that I see perpetuated. And I don't like to watch the news or TV because, I could just see either the programming or the misrepresentation of facts, and their goal to impress upon us an agenda that doesn't agree with us as humans, at least as far as I think. They want to continue this fear vibration about anything so that we, number one, do not connect to our ultimate potential, connect to all there is. We even are programmed to fear God. Some people think that if you marry somebody who's a God-fearing Christian, that's a good thing. Well, yeah, that's what they're programmed to believe, but God is love. They teach that God is love, but at the same time that you should fear him. Why? So the lower your vibration is at fear-based, the more that you're divided from each other, the more you do not try to reach your ultimate potential, the more you second guess yourself. A lot of people say, I fear a lot. They say those words, I fear. I'm not going to get into a relationship again because I fear I'm going to get hurt again. I'm not going to go after that job because I fear that I'm not going to get chosen, so they don't even go out and try, at least, see if they're good enough to be in this company. And so yes, once again, it's just to create division, and fear is the lowest vibration that we can have. Why? Because out of fear, all negativity in its variety is produced. Hate, wars, misunderstanding, brutality, the list goes on.
But also, our next question is, why does the human go to your television or radio or your newspaper to receive information from your planet? And why not connect on your own? Why not connect to your own guides and vibrations and decipher what is going on?
I believe that this was something that like our earlier humans were able to do, but once again, the control system, none of us really know how to connect to anything. Spirituality is not something that is in our everyday lives. I mean, we're taught that even this conversation with you, you know, Ivan is channeling you, that is bad. Yet, you know, or going to astrologers, diviners, and seers. However, the people who the Bible was written from were inspired themselves. And if you're inspired, you're channeling something. And they were seers, they were prophets themselves. So what's the difference between the prophets of then and the potential prophets of now? Ultimately, they just don't want us to connect, and they want us to just rely on whatever they are putting out. And this is something I thought about a few months ago. Isn't it interesting that you can buy a magazine at the store? It's going to cost you, like, say $1. It'll have some information, or a newspaper, right? It's $1. But you can turn on your TV and the information they're giving to you, it's free. Why is it free? You know, ultimately, it's not free because what they're telling you is going to be at your hindrance at some point or another, to their benefit.
Yes, it is very interesting. Also, your religions, they go back into the fear vibration, where they are not getting along with each other, as you can see. They do feel like they're better than others, but yet they're still part of the same vibration of fear. Even those of the Scientology vibrations, they still have an elite vibration about them, and they do go about it a little bit different than your other religions. Our question is, what's up with all that?
Yeah, once again, that's I think that there's a variety of religions. It's kind of like going to the store and you're trying out you have different shoes, you have different brand name shoes. They ultimately serve the same purpose, but they all have different styles, you know? So yeah, maybe you have they're all like a nice pair of tennis shoes, and the whole point is so that they can help you run. But you know that that ultimately they're gonna wear out or some point, or if they're badly made, you know, that's gonna show through. Without going in the long run, I think it's just they are there just to kind of cover all of humanity's interests, you know. And the point, once again, is profit, and for them to benefit off of our fear, because they have to let's call them have to control our spirit. They have to control our health. They have to control our resources. They have to control our money, you know. So as long as they're doing that, they're going to do that in every variety possible, like banks. You know that it's not good to get a credit card, but every bank has one to offer you. And ultimately, you know that you could pay items out of your own money, but the whole point is, you know, that is for you to go into debt, perpetual debt, and keep working to pay it off, etc. Make others rich.
Well, from our perspective, your money system, you can be in debt or as much money as you want. It doesn't truly matter to us. In our vibration, none of money doesn't even matter at all. You can control both. You can control debt, and you can also control money funds that's receiving much. It's all depending on what you want to in your vibration. But money, why is it that many do give their power away to money as if that is their God? That is one way of, yes, many do look at it, money as God. Why is it that your humans think that way?
I believe it's just that there's so much that at this point where you have to sustain a lifestyle. And if you don't have money, you can't sustain this lifestyle. You need to pay your car, you need that you're told you need so you can go to work, and you got to pay for your gas and your insurance, and you got to pay for, the place you live and your school, which, not in all countries do they have to pay to educate themselves, but, here in the United States you do. And so you're a slave in a way to money. And then the impressionability, once again, that you need things when you really don't need the things that, you're seeing, that you see around yourself that supposedly you need. Like you don't need another pair of shoes. You don't need another sweater. You don't need to keep up with the Joneses or look a certain way.
Of course, some do that to mingle with their friends, the Joneses, as you call it, to feel more comfortable, more accepted.
Yes.
But what if we can tell you that you have abilities within yourself, such as connecting to each other within your minds, meaning telepathy type of vibrations. Your human would react in what way?
I think that at this point, many would laugh because they don't think that they can do it. But many, at least in this time, in this period of time, are very open to it. They're very open to it. I think that they think it's a sixth sense or skill or something that only a select few are able to do because it's the way you've been programmed, and then obviously we're not taught these things. Also, we're not taught that if we just sit down and relax and take a break every now and then, probably, or listen to our bodies, wouldn't have as much like illnesses as we do today, but we're just working and working and working.
Well, we have different ways of looking at this question, but one moment. As for, if we were to say your soul, you have a soul, first off.
Yes.
And then you can be two-part question again. What is a soul to your society? Do they even acknowledge it at all? And the second is, where does it come from?
Yeah, that depends on which person you're talking to. I think that in general, our society is like, at least in the United States, I think that there's some societies and cultures that are a little bit more keen to this, like the Hindu culture, for example, or, maybe some Buddhists. I don't know. Maybe I say that because they meditate. Who knows? Yeah, I think that's all just really confusing to people. They think some people don't even know that they have a spirit. Most people think that this is our only incarnation. They think that we're alone except for like maybe God and Jesus or Allah and whoever, Muhammad or whatever anybody else thinks, and that we're alone. We're a planet just floating in space, and that's it. Somehow we're the only show in town.
Well, this question is a little bit structured a little bit differently, but I believe you'll understand it quite easily. But we want to go into it a little bit, just to say that your body is a conduit, just like your car. It is a mechanical. Well, it is a mechanical. Let's just call it that.
So it's like a radio. Yes.
Well,
like the FM and.
Well, it's much more than that. Well,
receiver and
we're
transceiver?
going to something a little bit different.
Okay.
It is more of where we're going is, as your soul enters your body, that is a conduit. It is there to experience life for a certain amount of time. and then many of you experience this, had a loved one on their deathbed. Where do you think their soul, well, first off, many do not believe that soul exists. Where do you think they go then? I'm not sure if that answered that.
Yeah, depending on who you're talking to and their belief system, some, if you are, I guess, of the Christian faith, or depending on which one, or the Catholic faith, if you've lived a good life, then you'll go to heaven and be with God, and depending on the circumstances, once again, of your life, you'll probably be in some kind of space that's limbo or a purgatory, and all of these things that they create for us. None of these things I personally believe. I think that many are connecting to a more spiritual approach. They're noticing that the churches are control systems, and there's a lot of fear in our society. They're kind of just learning how to break through of all of that. Learning that we are not the body, we're spirit having a human experience.
Excellent. Also, we want to go. Our next question is about. One moment. I'm changing questions. 1 moment.
Okay.
Yes, we notice there's a lot of restrictions in your heaven as you're getting there. Such if you eat this type of food, or wear a certain type of clothing, or have a sexual experience that is not exactly of the collective, your Earth's collectives, that you might disagree with. We find that very interesting. How would you answer that?
Yes, it's pretty crazy. Yes. The way being with God has been made to be so difficult, to be with a loving being that all he wants is the best for us, but there's all of these rules in place just to get there. There are some religions that believe in a plan of salvation, or some kind of plan that will help you emulate Jesus, for example, so you could be like perfect, so you could make sure to go to heaven. But first you got to pay 10% of your income every month and do certain things and rituals to get there. It's just really unfortunate. And another thing that creates is that we're very future based. We're not enjoying our life right now because we're worrying about what we're going to be doing, what we're doing in this life, and how it'll affect our life in the thereafter.
Yeah, it's basically the vibration from your world. You're pretty much damned when you're born, basically, a sinner, and you have to redeem yourself for something you didn't do wrong to begin with. And
you go to church and profess that everything's your fault.
Pretty much. That you are, understand the beings here that don't want you on this planet made those rules. So it's like, you don't want you here, so we're just going to call you're all damned by coming here, and we're going to beat you up and say a bad word, which they call a bad word, because they categorized it. And that will put you in a hell state of life forever, eternity. So they're trying to make it as difficult as they can for you to have a pleasant existence on this planet. But of course, our next question is, if we were to tell you that your soul is energy and your infinite soul, meaning you can do whatever you want, you can connect to whatever you wish, why aren't you humans doing this at this time?
Yes, for the same reason. Like I said, it could be explained the same way. It's just, it all goes down to the programming. And I think it's just, we come into this earth probably knowing it's going to suck pretty bad. And we come into this earth and we just got to figure out all of this stuff so we can get to the point where we figure out the stuff that you're telling me now. Like, you're of energy. You are a being that is made of love. Humans are not made to do the atrocities that they do. There shouldn't be drama on this planet because of the way humans are made, yet we are. And I think that's part of the reasons why they want to suppress us, because we are as powerful as we are.
Mm-hmm.
I am just learning like the power of the law of attraction and how simple it is, to attract things into your life just by, choosing to be pleasant, and just by thinking of what you want, and for affirming it, stating the things that you want. As simple as that, you're attracting like vibration to you, positive things. But here you're taught that, everything is a challenge, and that you have to go through this maze or this set of challenges to get to what you want, and even then there's like so much competition, so you're not even like recognizing your own efforts to be where you are, to get what you want in life.
Yes, excellent. One moment. And then for our last question, one moment. Let me process it. One moment. Yes. What would be your answer if we'd say that you were all equal, you were all the same, you were all, no matter what color, what kind of money you have no money or all the money, you're all still equal in the long run, you're all human? We believe that's not exactly exercise on your world at this time. What would you say that?
I would say that is the place that I come from in my mind, that we are all equal beings. That's what our Constitution says. All humans are created equal.
Does not exercise it though, as you can tell.
But it's not does not exercise it exactly. And it's very unfortunate what's being played out in our society. I think even more recently, the last 4 or 5 years, it's just been a kind of a reversal of a sense in the racial togetherness that I think we enjoyed, at least for a little while, to some degree. At least in my observation. And I think that the divisions are just kind of the divisions that I guess whoever wants in place in our society is just kind of rolling itself back. Why? I don't know, but maybe they just want to control us more, or have more reasons to control us by, having us create problems amongst each other, and then create conflicts and riots and stuff to give the policymakers reasons to make more laws to control us more, to put more of us in jail, to create things for companies who make a profit off of the prison system. It's just like never ending. I personally would like a peaceful world where we all loved each other and appreciated each other for who we are, not what we are, not our shell, because this is all it is, it's a shell. But are you a good person? That's what matters.
Well, you can be whatever person you want, good or bad. Either way, you're all equal on this planet. We're just going to say this last thing, and we will be going, give you just some rest, but also let you know that your world is, yes, massively manipulated. As for seeing those with great wealth as something to look up to, as this is that's what you all want, but yet understand the money system is built as a control mechanism. So those with the most money are the great controllers. They also say want you to be the same thing, but understand those with the most money are usually the most controlled. Those with less money actually are less controlled. So you have less of it. It's actually better. But of course, you have to manifest what you need. And some have difficulties on doing that. So.
Yes, I totally agree.
Yes.
And really quick, I've thought many times about how much easier people have it who just choose to have less or don't feel like they need so much, because once you get to buying things or accrue a certain amount of debt, you think like, why am I here? Like, why did I buy this thing? And you handcuffed yourself to this debt. You've made your own self a prisoner to money when it's supposed to help, right? But I admire more people, for example, let's say, people of my grandma's town in Mexico who live simply and they have what they need. And if they buy a little extra, it's because they have, because they want it. But do they need a lot? No, they don't. But they have food on their table. They have electricity, and they have the love of their family, and they enjoy nature and all that good stuff.
Well, also, one thing I want to add before we leave, as much of your, what you call rent, as for paying for where you live, notice how those numbers keep increasing. Understand that's been done on purpose to make life difficult. And notice the wages are going down, and yet your rent is always going up. And everything is going up. That's all done by design to make life as difficult as possible. It's another sign of telling you the beings here, the alien extraterrestrials, those that are in control, do not want you to be here. That is why those mechanisms happen. It can be, you can have a job that you can, and have a rent that you can afford, such as working at your McDonald's, whatever. There's nothing wrong with that. But those that have powers that be make it very difficult for that, because they don't want you to have a decent place to live. Even if it's very simplistic, they don't want you to have any of that. So it is a squeeze. But okay, obviously you can also manifest, but also not everyone is meant to manifest in that regard. The little things are easiest to manifest, and your culture will eventually connect with that. But also, as you do this, you connect more to yourselves and realize you don't need this food consumption as much as you are living it right now. Much of what has been taught to you will be mostly reversed in your future time, or right now, depending on where you are vibrationally. By the way, we must be leaving.
That sounds great.
Yes.
Well, thank you for being here, and thank you for asking me questions.
Oh, yes. That was lovely. Thank you for answering them.
Yes, and I look forward to your future visit off the deep end.
Yes, we will be returning, yes, at a winter time. Much love. And
much love
many blessings to your society and everyone.
Many blessings to you. Thank you.
Okay, greetings. All right.
Well, that was fun. Thanks a lot for that, Ivan.
Good, yeah. I caught some of it, but anyway, excellent. Good to hear. So.
Well, once again, thank you, Ivan, for spending time with us on Off the Deep End. And everyone, you can check out Ivan on his website, ivanteller.com, or check out his apps where you can see all of his recent channelings. Just look up Ivan Teller on your Droid or your iPhone app. And you can check out his webinars on youtube.com, once again, under Ivan Teller. And check out his monthly subscription for at least $10. I think that's what it is still, $10. You can join a webinar twice a week where you can ask the Beings He channels any question that you'd like. And that's about it. And make sure to tune in. Make sure to tune in again. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Ivan.
Yeah, thank you. All right, much love. Good night, everyone. Bye.